Hey, hello, people. Welcome to the Mongol Crooning Show with Abby and friends. Where's Abby first? So, yes, so nice to see everybody and everything. I'm prepping what I want to put up now. I just want to say thank you so much for always tuning in. I mean, I got some phone calls today, and people were telling me about how much they enjoy the show. Honestly, hearing from people, like really hearing such positive words from people is such a beautiful thing to the soul. Like, I mean, a guy I spoke with today was like, that show, was like, yeah, we see a little bit of, weird, like madness in it, but there's so much that someone can pick from. Nobody knows everything, and it's good to hear other people's ideas. And that's the whole point. Another lady was like, she enjoyed the show. She even asked me to send the link again to her because she wanted to watch it again and share it with some people. So I mean, that's really nice. And just hearing all the different things that people had to say. And like I kept repeating. If I was like on auto repeat today, because it was just the same thing I was telling every person I spoke with. The whole point of the show is that we bring different views and we talk and we have a conversation. Because one thing I've come to realize in this world is that most of the time, people are not ready to have a conversation. They just think, I know it all. This is what it is. I don't care what anybody else thinks. That's my opinion. And that's that. And the world doesn't operate like that. Nobody knows everything. You might think, oh, I know it to this point, but then you find somebody who might either like drag a bit more knowledge, so that drag you further into your knowledge, or actually show you that, hey, you got it wrong, and this is and the thing about conversation is there has to be listening as well as speaking. So we don't always achieve the listening part. Trust me, we don't, because there are people who just talk, 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 talk. They know everything and they're not ready to listen to anybody. But at least a lot more people are starting to listen and say, okay, fine, this is my view, but let me actually hear you. I'm not just like waiting for you to finish speaking so that I can speak. I'm actually listening and hearing your point. And if something isn't clear, then I'll say, okay, please, can you clarify this part for me? Can you make this make sense? Things like that. So thank you to every single person who is listening, who tunes in, who is part of the show. You guys really rock. Hey, Sister Ariola. Thank you for joining. Please, if at any point in time you can actually join us on the show, I would love it. I would really love it. So at least you can share your thoughts. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with the feedback that we're getting. And please, we want more and more feedback because that's how we can grow. Yeah, and it's not people come to say, "Oh, the show is great. The show is great." We like that the show is good, but we know it's not great. It can be better. So tell us the things that you feel that we need to know, things that we need to adjust, things that we need to share. All that kind of stuff. Tell us all this stuff because that's what's going to actually make us better, bigger, and something that you be like, yes, you have to include it in your Tuesday night. Yeah, well, how has today been? We have half term in college, but I have assignments up the wazoo. So I've not even had time. And today I was just in a bad place mentally. I mean, shout out to Dr. Seno, to in fact to everybody in Inner Caucus, DJs, Inner Caucus, because you guys rock. To Sister Irene, to Uncle Brad Talks, Sister Dekemi, like everybody were like, Mr. Joe. People were like concerned for me, and they were like surrounding me with so much love to just make sure that I was okay. So I really, really appreciate that. Because when you're dealing with ill health and then you're dealing with the external issues again, it can be a lot. I've got um 3 scripts I have to to learn the lines. I don't know the line of anything because it's difficult learning lines when you're by yourself. It's very, very difficult learning lines by yourself. So I have 3 plays that I have to learn the lines. I have not learned one line, you know. And then I've got, I think, how many dances that I have to learn the steps. I have not even seen the dance safe. So, and then of course I've got like paperwork to fill and all of that, and I've got like a class I'm teaching on Friday that I have to prepare for, and all kinds of stuff. It's a lot. It's a real lot, but you know what, we are more than able. So that's what my week has been like, because yeah, today is Tuesday. My week has started off with wuru. I've not even been able to go to the radio station. I'm going to wake up early tomorrow, get to the radio station, get the show for the radio show on and everything, and come back home and get crack-a-lacking with my assignment. So I'm hoping that oh, thank you so much. I'm wondering where DJ Wiki Wiki is, because he should be here. I don't know. These days we have to wait for him. We don't know where he is. But hopefully he will come and join. And I'm already seeing people are tuning in to listen. So we are doing the second part of the show we did last week. And this is about how marriages are failing. I hope I can find it, because someone sent something that I found quite pertinent to relationships, to why relationships struggle so much. And I've always said it, even when we were just having that conversation on a light way. I said, look, the problem that people are having is communication. you know it is one thing to speak, but what's important in speaking is listening. That's the reason why we have one of this and two of these. It's important that when people are speaking, that we are listening, and it's also important that when we speak, that whoever we're speaking to listens to us, because that's how communication works. And apart from that, it's not just speaking, it's how you say what you want to say, when you choose to say it, you know and also, is the person really listening to you, or just waiting for you to finish talking so that they can say what they want to say? Or they let you finish talking and they're like, well, you know what, this is what I want to do and that's what I'm going to do. And I've had that situation where, in fact, it's something that the inner caucus helped me to resolve today, where I kept telling somebody, look, I'm not ready to have this I am overwhelmed by the constant barrage, because when someone is insisting on communicating with you and you're not ready to receive that communication, you're not ready, you're not mentally in a place to handle that communication, you're not mentally in a place to deal with any kind of communication, you're physically, because I've been ill, I've had flu for a couple of weeks, you're physically not in a good place to deal with any kind of conversation, and you're telling the person, I can't talk now, just give me time and I'll get back to you. I promise I will get back, but just give me time. And the person is like, no, 15 calls in 2 hours. My family didn't borrow money from yours now. Why are you chasing me? You know, because it becomes harassment when someone says, I'm not ready to communicate, and you're insisting, no, you must talk to me now, today. I want to hear you. I want to see you. And the person is going, good, all well and good. You want all of this, but I'm not ready. And person's insisting and just constantly harassing. And it made me realize that some people, they just ghosted me. Really? Were you just ghosted? I'm not saying ghosting doesn't happen. I've been ghosted before. I mean, I've ghosted person. Let me not lie. You know, where I just feel, and the reason why I ghost people is when I've tried to communicate with them and they're just not listening. I'll just be like, I beg, day your day. I will day my day. But some people, they'll be saying, oh, I was ghosted. This person just stopped talking to me. Could it be that the person was trying to speak to you and you simply refused to listen? You simply refused to acknowledge what they were saying. You simply took their words for nothing. And then when they're telling you that I'm talking to you, you're not listening, then you start to gaslight them and go, are you sure? Are you sure it was me you were talking to? Because I can promise you, I've been trying to talk to you and you don't want to listen. Really? So, and then that person just gets to a point where they're like, you know what, block, block, block all the way to Blockville. I don't want to see this person, don't want to talk with them, let them do their day. And then you'd be like, imagine, no, such and such person ghosted me. Check yourself so you don't wreck yourself, you know. So, communication is such a biggie. Two people who claim to love each other, to say that they're each other's best friend. You know, somebody made a joke recently on Instagram. I laughed. But I was like, imagine, oh, we that are your friends for the past 20 something years of your life. You did not carry us to go and greet us on Instagram. You now meet one girl, 8 months. Next year, putting, oh, my best friend. The rest of us, what are we? Gary. The way the guy said it was so funny. He was like, so the rest of us, what are we? Gary, Abby. But that one is your best friend. A girl you barely know. Suddenly, oh, my best friend. Guy, don't worry. We are waiting for you. Well, it's true, couples will come together and go, oh, you're my best friend. Oh, applaud yourself to my best friend, the love of my life, the one that makes my world boom. I wonder how parents must feel when they hear their children saying, yeah, this girl that I met like a year ago is not the coconut in my tree, the mosquito in my wardrobe. The didn't. Oh yes, you got Abby Fash. Let me add a hello, Abby. Wait, I'm trying to add her. Hi, Abby.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, girl? Hey. Every time you're cutting me new soap, Sha. Now, wow.
What can I
Looking
do?
very nice.
What can I do? What can I do? I cannot
God
see
just went
myself.
in an embodiment. Hey,
What
baby girl. Baby girl of life.
not kill anybody. I just say let me just be managing before they turn me to sugar mommy.
Hey, my dear sister, allow them.
Ah,
Allow them to turn you. The only
no.
thing that you just be like, well, Sherry sugar mommy is she receives the sugar, she doesn't give it
Emi
out.
gan fẹ́ gọjú ìdí abẹ́gi.
How are your exams? I hope everything's gone well.
My day is not bad. I'm still like I don't know this exam
Eh,
story.
this school matter in old age, no be small thing, no.
Yeah, I
My
still need
brain is like, leave me alone.
I still need to read. You know when you have all these friends that will be pushing you. Oh, there's this
Mm,
course. Oh, there's this thing. Oh, you're very smart. I'm like, no, I'm not smart. Reduce the
mm.
smartness. I'm not smart anymore. I decided not to be smart. They say, oh, you're very smart. You just sit down. I say, Don't be overhyping me. I don't know this.
Abio,
Yeah, you're very smart.
you are
Oh, you
gassing me up.
I beg. Now money my head they can't now, but it's okay. What
Abi.
are we do? So, but I
Oh,
know that it's for the best. I know that
yeah.
all they're doing is just for me to kind of progress and all of that. So as much
Mhm.
as I'm talking like, oh, what the heck? Like, but I'm still like, I don't know how to explain that. Like I'm happy for them for pushing me, but
Mhm.
I'm also
Mhm.
very angry. Like,
Also a
don't
bit
come and push
annoyed that why did
me.
you if there whether you guys can come and write this exam?
Yeah, there's a way, and unfortunately, it's not like we're in the same field. But them people that will read and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna fit you. This is gonna suit you. Have you tried it? Have you?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to try anything. I just want to be." And then
Abi.
after reading one or two things about whatever they promoted to me, then I'll be like, "Oh, and it's not bad though, huh? This out there dragging me," and
And
I'm
I'm
like,
not feeling bad. I made them feel bad though.
"Yeah." Do you understand? So it's a mixture of bad and good.
I,
So
I totally get you. I'm trying to actually find there's a thing about relationships that I found. But before we go on, I want to say hello, hello, hello to Mr. Femi. Mr. I was about to say hello to him. He just
yeah,
he
there's no
just threw down. He took he poked race.
Mr. Femi on the chat.
No.
Okay.
Which Mr. Femi is on the chat?
I've
No,
forgotten
I don't think he's on our chat. Oh.
Sorry. I thought it
No, but he's the one that has come. He has come on the show several times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey God, I'm trying to find that post because that post is really, really like good about relationships. So, my dearest, we're
Mm,
talking about communication because you
mhm,
know me now, I'm a big communication champion. I'm always like, let's talk about it. Have we spoken about it? Have you? And you know that for me, it's always like it's not about letting somebody speak so that you can say your own. Is are you
mhm,
really hearing what the person is saying? Are you really listening to what the person is saying? Or are you just like, say your own? I'll just wait for you so that I can draw breath, so I can quickly put my own and say yes, and I mean no pass.
mm.
Because nobody knows everything. No matter how intelligent you think you are, you don't
Mm.
know everything. So, what are your thoughts about this whole communication, especially when it comes to things like ghosting? I'm actually going to share something that happened today. It's been happening for the past 3 weeks, but we came to a head today. But before I tell you about it, I want to hear your thoughts about ghosting.
I think it's just childish. I think as
Necessary, but me, oh.
no, it is necessary, but at least give hints that you are going to be ghosted.
Mm,
Um, I served somebody breakfast, which I think I
mm.
shared.
Breakfast
Mhm.
server.
And the breakfast, when the person came to me with an explanation, even though I've shared the breakfast, and in my head, I'm thinking, okay, the nonsense excuse that was given, it wasn't. I didn't take it on board. Okay, I didn't take the excuse on board, but I was like,
Mm.
okay, I'll start this breakfast, and this person's trying to give explanation.
Oh,
I was looking. Hey, hello. Looking
Hey,
at me.
hey, God knows somebody hold me. I'm about to faint with joy.
I'm
Oh,
like,
Jesus.
what are you saying to
Oh, my
enjoy?
sweet Jesus. Oh, is this you? Is this you?
Don't come and be
Oh.
boasting. I beg, I beg, I beg.
What are you saying to enjoy?
So, as I was
I'm
saying,
very happy.
you
I'm
can't see
very
your head
happy.
properly, oh. Or is it me? We are missing your full. And let them see the head. Oh,
I didn't think it was possible for me to miss it fine like this. I have
Why?
missed.
What did I do? What
Ah,
did I
I,
do?
bruh. You know
no,
when I tell you, you
life.
bring joy to me now.
Anyway,
If not that
I was
you're
just
Okay,
married,
saying,
what
you know
is
that
it?
you're my husband material.
it's okay. Let
Ah,
us know word.
don't say it loud enough. Madam is here. Don't say it loud enough.
That's why I said, if not that you were
Uh,
married,
just wave
madam,
and say hi.
you have
Wave and say
already
hi.
taken the man that I was hoping to take.
Oh, Jesus.
How are you?
I bet she was like, what's this?
What you
To be like, see this with a woman.
Anyway, so
Hey,
so
welcome.
I'm the breakfast server. Anyway, so I serve the breakfast, sha. After serving this lovely breakfast, and the breakfast receiver now came with a very genuine excuse for the serving. But
Hmm.
even though the serving is still very hot, and I'm like, okay, let's be realistic, let's listen. And that's what communication is about. Okay, let me listen. Maybe I was too irrational with my breakfast that I've served. Do you understand?
Hmm. Yeah.
And well, at the end of the day, I realized that the person was only trying to stray along. And I'm like, okay, I served this breakfast once. I think I need to reserve it.
Hmm.
Because
Say those two.
yeah, so it was 2 in 1. So the purpose of this serving is because we are not communicating.
Hmm. So when
So
you say you're not communicating, is it that the person refused to hear what you were saying?
yes, it's
Okay.
they listen, but they are not how will I put it now? The person listen, but probably just hearing on and not listening. I'm trying to differentiate to see if there's a difference between the two. Not sure now. But this person
Hmm.
was hearing me, was probably not listening. And
Hmm.
so I had to reserve the breakfast all over again.
Hmm.
Because the whole point of it, nobody will be served breakfast. If you are, see, a girl that is going to leave you tomorrow, or a guy that's going to leave you tomorrow, would have been giving you hints.
Exactly.
You would have been reading the signs and be like, okay, these are good signs. If you're not sure, you can discuss. And there's no discussion, you can just quietly ghost, like you said.
Ah, because when you said it's immature, I'm like,
It's kind of,
lady, I
no,
had to
without
ghost somebody,
because
and
there's
it
a
was not a
way.
case of
No,
immaturity.
because there's a way you can ghost that wouldn't show that you know what you're doing. But there's also another kind of ghosting. Like if I'm talking to you now, every day we are talking, we are smiling, and all of a sudden you've done something to me. I think this thing is so painful to me that I cannot let go, and I just ghost you.
Mm. No communication, nothing.
No
Just other
communication,
come.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other way around, whereby it's ghosting, but I've been giving you hints. Oh, you are the way you are going, the way you are going. I don't like Abby, the way you are now. There are things that I know that you don't like. And if you've been telling me, Abby, I don't like this thing you're doing, I don't like this thing you're doing. And all of a sudden, you can either do two things. It's either you ignore me completely by not even
Mm-hmm.
saying again, like knowing that this person is deaf and dumb. And if you have any other thing that you can do to do without me, you will do it. People do it among
Mm-hmm.
girlfriends and all of that. You understand what I mean? If I've told you,
Yeah.
for me, I'm not a good teacher. I am not a good teacher. And I always say this every now and again because I don't know how to babysit people. So if you are doing something and I've told you, this thing you are doing, this thing you are doing, repent, repent, and you're not ready, there's nothing I can do. But unlike the ghoster, I always like to make you understand
Mm.
because I value every relationship, girlfriend, boyfriend, what other
Oh.
any other friend, friend with benefit, anything that you can call any kind of friend, male, female. I value friendship so much. So if I'm going to be the server or the ghoster, I am going to let you know that this is the reason why you are being ghosted. So it won't meet you unannounced. So for me, I just
Mm.
think the purpose of communication is that you need to be able to tell the people involved to say that you know what, we are not gelling. We are not gelling.
We
These
are
are my
not
reasons.
going. Ah,
Exactly. These
going.
are my reasons for us not this. Now, if the other party is trying to make sure that, okay, I don't want this thing to happen, blah, blah, blah. So the person is like, okay, what can I do? And you have to see effort to say that, okay, this person um is trying to make effort. And if you've not, then it's like for me, it's just about law and order. There's no need. If you can't do this, you can't manage to kind of move, shift pattern. And it's the same thing. You should be able to do that to myself as well. Like you're saying, Abby, I don't like your presentation. And I'm saying, oh, I'm so sorry. Tomorrow again, I don't like your presentation. Well, okay, what's wrong with my presentation? Tell me this, what have I done? And then I could be able to, and I'm not talking boyfriend, girlfriend here. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
talking generally
Normal
any
life.
kind of relationship, we should be able to be open without just saying, we've seen friends that they will be talking, nothing's wrong. You just see the next day, this person is not talking to you again.
And you're wondering what's going on.
Do
Now,
you know what's
before you
going on?
continue, Abby, I want to say massive welcome, hey, to my sister Ibidu
Oh,
Shogodare. Welcome,
mhm.
sis. And we had DJ Wiki Wiki. Oh, he disappeared. I don't know what happened,
Maybe it's network.
but he will come back. This is his territory. He will come back. Yeah, so welcome. Please, I needed to start thinking about, the different ways that Sister Bida, I'm talking to you now. I want, because I want to ask you a question about, communication, how effective communication works and ineffective communication. So please, if you can start thinking on that for me. And if you too, especially now, you've been married for a while. I'm sorry, oh, that's my phone. Just let me just kill it. Let me kill it dead. It's telling me it's time to take my medication. Okay, so if I want you to also be, start thinking about ways that, now I want you to personalize it, ways that you've tried to communicate both at home and at work that you found out were not effective. that you realize, whoa, okay, maybe I'm not, because usually with us women, we are natural communicators. But I know that you communicate well, Ifeanyi. So, and I know that you're quite somebody who
With
self-evaluates it.
most women, not with all.
Most women, not all of us. Yes. Okay, Abby. Yes, continue. So, because you said something very, very important. You said that when you're telling somebody you've done something, and the person's going, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I did that," but then there's no change. They are
Mhm.
very quick to say sorry, oh, but there's
Yeah.
no change. They will keep doing the same thing. Yeah. Continue,
So
please.
for one's mental health, if you're dealing with people who constantly are doing the same thing over and over again, then you need to review the value that person is bringing to your life. If there's somebody
Mm,
that is bringing value to your life, can you do away with that value? If you can't, I'm talking general terms. I'm not talking about husband and wife. They already stick together and they have to look at other things, the reasons why they have to get, be together. So I am just talking generally, be it boy, girl, and old man, woman, and all of that. That's I will look at the fact that whatever I'm saying to you, you are trying to make effort. And your
mm.
effort is known. It's not all the silent effort. So there are people who do things.
I'm listening. I'm listening. Really, in the middle of someone talking. Even if I is like, he's in shock. If I is like, what? Hell, ba, hell.
I'm glad
Can
you.
you, Abby, we can't hear you because Rod has come in and put his dabaru on the whole thing. Can you adjust yourself?
You
Hello,
listen.
everybody. Oh, there's a new person in the house. Oh, good evening, madam. Is it? Yeah.
Bad behavior.
Oh, good evening.
I have to greet everybody on the panel. Good evening, madam. Nice to see you for the first time.
Nice to see you
Uh,
as well. Yeah, yeah.
Sexy, happy, fast. Nice frames once again. Good evening. Fine. You came back today. Okay. We thank God.
When somebody is so, so unaware.
Yeah, can I say something? Can you hear me?
No, no.
Please
Can
go
Because
you
ahead
hear me?
and say.
Now, Ron, what you have done now is an example of an ineffective communication. Communication that people do without thinking.
No, I
Sorry,
don't think, Happy, I don't think he
not
had,
honest.
I don't think he heard what you were saying. He wasn't hearing you. That's why he did what he did. Do you get? He just didn't know. So he barged in thinking nobody was talking. So after that played, he just continued talking.
that's not a good excuse.
That's the more polite way to put it. I felt that as soon as I came on, wait, I felt that as soon as I came on, Abifas should have acknowledged my presence, my aura, my everything. She just went on talking.
If I is killing
You
Okay,
know
This is the
okay.
time
when
that
you know
this is
when
the time
an
that
husband,
you push
you
your
know
chair
when
back
an
and do
husband,
hell, Jesus.
when an husband left home since morning and came
me.
late
Imagine
and is
though.
trying to use unnecessary ogboju. If you want to do all your horn, you can come early and do the horn. I don't have a problem. If you are doing your wrong explain and you do all of those things, I do not have a problem. But in the middle of a conversation,
Someone cannot do it again. What's happening here?
Abby.
Because
There's nothing I'm going to say that that's going to matter. The man have gone to drink already. He has come back home. Let's thank God he's at home.
sorry, just carry on, please. Don't mind me. I'll just
Are we allowed? Are we allowed to carry on, or we have more?
a long time I tasking happy fast. I just
I am be fast. Please continue.
anyway,
Oh my
so
God! I
what
don't
was I
laugh. I'm not
saying? What
tired.
was I saying? Because I've lost my line of
I
thing.
can't even
No,
remember.
no, even we too, we have lost it for you. We are waiting.
You can talk, Ron.
You
You have
can,
No, he's not coming. He's not coming to talk before people that arrive before him. What kind of nonsense about that is
I
that?
can't remember
Mute
what I was
yourself.
talking about.
observer mission. So just
Mute
feel free.
yourself. Oh yeah, you fine.
Yeah.
Abby, try and recollect. Sorry, even me, I can't remember because I don't laugh tire.
Find me.
But try and
Sorry,
remember what you were saying. Oh yeah, if you're next.
sorry,
Sorry.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
I'll still ask what was the question, but the first thing I want to do is Abi Fash. No vex. I did Nigeria, and the first way they use welcome me na cold zobo. Cold zobo.
That
Hey,
is
Just so
not,
it to
nice.
prepare
that
you.
is not nice.
Cold zobo. So wait, let me pour the zobo so people can be
Please
seeing
stop. I'm going to
the
take
See
myself
this,
out of this.
please,
oh
we have new guests in our midst. I don't
oh
want us to be using
oh
our own to waste our
oh
time, Jare.
see
Hurry
zobo.
up.
This is evil.
Well,
I
This is
am
a
beefing
lie.
the
I need to
zobo.
talk
Drink it
about
and talk.
it.
wait now. I see my throat is dry. Let me moisten the throat.
Where's your wife? I need to talk to her. This is what you
Ah
do to people? To be
ah
telling me?
ah.
Mm.
Let's can now I can give you for my voice.
Oh,
You
Diego.
said whether so we should talk about effective or ineffective communication. This Zobo is effective communication. My wife has given me. It is a step up for the later on. You understand? It's effective communication. Oh my
Oh
god,
my
effective
God.
communication. And you see, the woman is very wise. She saw that I'm coming on the show. She just dropped the Zobo and disappear. Just effective communication. So that in all this talk, don't overtalk yourself. Be okay. You have to be okay.
I just feel that this particular Zobo is an attack on my person. Because the way that I
Why?
love Zobo, the way that you have done it this night, I pray that they don't bring me Zobo into my dream.
Please do
Because I'll
not do
drink it.
not let me go up. There is jerry cans of Zobo upstairs. I'll bring it down. Very chill. Very everything is that's so it's effective communication. You're asking me about effective or ineffective communication. One of the few things I know, and I always tell people, I always say it a whole lot. We need to learn that you could say there's this thing we do where you get angry and you hype up and you shout, you're stupid. And you can also slow down
Mm.
and tell the person, say you did stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are saying the same thing, but it's how you said it. So a lot of
Mm.
communication is about how you said it, not what you said. And that entails the funny thing about communication is the first thing about communicating is be willing to listen, keep quiet.
Mm.
As little as that. Whenever you want to talk on a radio frequency, one of the first things you do is you listen out. It's the first thing everybody will tell you, listen out. What are you listening out for? Is somebody talking? So that I don't do what Ron just did, which is ineffective communication, over talk somebody.
Do it,
You
please.
listen out. You listen out, what does the person doing? And if you apply it to everything, even our marital relationships, listen before you talk. So the art
Mm.
of listening lets me do something. Lets me put it together. Whenever I teach communication, and just this is just general communication aviation, there's something you do. We call it the 4 Ws. Who are you? Who am I? Where am I? What do I want? Think about it. Who are you? I'm talking to Abby. Abby is my friend. Who am I? I'm Abby's friend. Where am I? We are eating in a restaurant. What do I want to tell Abby? Do I want to tell her she's very stupid? She'll get angry at that place. No, I'll wait till I reach the home. Then I'll give her Zobo and tell her Abby, this stupid though. The Zobo will calm down everything. But if you think about it and you apply it to everywhere, who are you? Who am I? Where am I? What do I want? That makes it as
Mm.
clear as possible. And if the person, because one, the first two requires that you build a relationship with the person. So know your place before you say what you have to say. It's not the fact that something is on social media and you have an opinion doesn't make it right for you to say it. What's your place in this thing? It concern you? No. If you not concern you,
Mm.
carry yourself. They go. Don't go and count another person's money. Elon Musk is rich. You're not rich. Don't count it. Stay, have a
Exactly.
relationship with the person. So who are you? Who am I? I now know who am I to you. Where am I? If you're bereaved or if you're what stage in life are you? What stage in the situation are you in before I tell you what I need to tell you? If it just happened, you're probably flustered. Do I want to tell you then? No. If you're in love, do I want to advise you that this guy is no good? Oh, you're not good. Listen, no. Love don't carry you go. But when can I tell you? When we are sitting down, we are having sensible conversation because all of us as human beings, once in a while, we sober up I fit tell you, say, see my red flag. Oh, what do I want? See my red flag. Oh, see what I see. This is how I saw it. This is what it is. This is where we go. That makes an
Mm.
effective communication. But however, the first thing is you listen. Now, bringing it to where we dey always get our quanta when we dey talk with man and woman. We in this place we've heard about love languages and what you speak. The same way for communication frequency. Person fit dey frequency wey dey talk French and you dey tell am English. There's nothing, you will not get anywhere.
Mm.
In fact, most likely you
Yeah.
people will start to shout at each other. However, if you listen, if you step back and listen, now it has nothing to do with roles, gender, or anything else. It just has to do with somebody in the room keeping quiet and listening and being able to then itemize and respond, not react, not argue, not find the points across, and respond appropriately to what the person is saying. That makes it better. The other thing I wanted to point out also is when in people's responses, a lot of our responses are influenced by our history, our story, and what we have faced before.
Mm.
So in your listening, try to find that history, that story, what they have faced before you respond. Before you go and carry gun and go to a knife fight and shoot
Mm.
everybody and come back, you have solved the problem. Everybody's quiet, but you do not get anything.
Mm.
Those are the ones that I have seen. You see, when you drink Zobo and have beer, this kind of thing used to happen. Let me drink the Zobo. Cheers to
Wisdom,
you.
wisdom.
Mm.
Odogu.
Ah, Garon, all that is
Sister
remaining
Ibidu.
is issue. I'm ready for it. The issue is coming. It's going to be
Okay,
fast.
now, okay, it
Good
have do,
evening,
it have
Papa.
do, it have do. I beg, take it easy.
The Uber is coming. Everything is on you. You have to platter it. Small, you eat it. The
Good evening,
Igbo people there is
everyone.
small. Good evening, ma.
Okay, Sister Ibidu, yes, please. Good evening, ma.
Good
Good evening,
evening.
ma.
When you're talking of effective and not effective communication, I think it has to base on the foundation how the relationship started.
Mm.
When I was young, our parents are very strict then. Then you do hide and search corner love, that type of thing. When we see ourselves, we talk straight. We say everything about ourselves to individuals. And when you're talking about communications, if I say something I don't understand, it makes my communication not to be effective to you because you might not even understand what I'm saying and you're doing something
Mm.
else. So in a situation when you communicate, you have to make sure that what you're saying, your partner or your spouse really understand what you really mean to make what
Mm.
you're saying to be effective. And then when you say something and there's no change, as Abby rightly said, that means it is, I would say, it deliberately is a deliberately act of somebody who is saying sorry and still repeating itself.
Mm.
So we don't call that one ineffective communication. It's what that person has determined, make up his mind, say, oh, I'll keep on frustrating Abby. And I can say
Mm.
millions sorry, not even coming from my heart. I deliberately did it, and I keep on telling you sorry. I keep on saying, oh, excuse me, I don't like this. When you first met a person newly, both of you can have a cup of coffee, sit down, or what you don't like. My do's and don'ts, these are these. This is what I like with my spouse. This is what I want my man to be doing for me. This is what I want you to be doing to me as a wife. But when two of you just derailed, or maybe you are losing interest, the communication starts not to be effective anymore.
Mm.
So that's the way I see it because if I say, oh, I don't like this, and you keep on doing it, somebody like me, I'm very, very tough when it comes to that. I say, excuse me. And when you wake me up when I'm sleeping, I will tell you that I told you at so time, so minute, and this is what I said.
Mm.
So for not making that my communication to be effective, to be ringing your brain, and this is your reply, I will even say it to you that this is what you told me as well, and I never crossed the boundary. So why are we making the marriage so difficult to ourselves? I think when one of us started losing interest, ineffective communication started to spring up. So
Mm.
I don't have interest in going on with Igwe that just drinks Zobo now. And I've been looking for something to use as an excuse. He said, I don't like this. I was, oh, I don't know why you told me that. I've forgotten. I'm sorry. Meanwhile, I know what I was doing. So there's no communication that's not effective because definitely we speak the same language, we come from the same area. When you tell me something, I should be able to understand what you're saying. And if I don't understand, I should ask you, oh, I beg your pardon, can you repeat yourself? And what do you mean by this? To make the communication so effective and we work out things in the way it should be. But when you talk, and nobody even don't care anymore, there's no more love.
Mm.
Because I always tell people, I always even tell my children that this is two incompatible people, too incompatible to make themselves compatible. We've been bring up from different environment, different parents, different social gatherings. So and we come together as a couple to understand each other. It will take time. And okay, this is how we are being brought up in my house. Oh, this is how my daddy behaves to my mom. This is how my mommy behaves. Oh, I don't want my family to be like this. This is how we do things. No, but I think I I would say everything based on love. To make your
Mm.
communication to be effective, that means you are strongly love each other. Oh, is it my husband? I know what my husband can do. Oh, is it my
Ma,
partner?
I want to ask a question. Now, you find some couples where one partner has said to the other, this is what I like. The other one too has said, this is what I like. But then one partner thinks, no, my what I want is more important than your own. So when the person is going, no, I don't like this. Stop this. Person goes, nah, let's move on to something. Or they minimize what you're saying and turn it into a joke. So when you're saying, look, this thing really upset me, like, what is it? Can't somebody play with you? And you're like, no, I'm not playing. I'm dead serious. I don't like this. And the
Yes.
person is constantly just disregarding. How do you how do you look at that relationship? Is there a way of fixing it? Is what can be done about it? Because I mean, even on the group that you and I are on, we have seen cases just recently
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
people saying to one person, this is what I do not like, and the other person is just like, I don't give a damn what you think, this is what I want, and that's what's going to happen. So I was looking at that exchange and I was wondering, and I wonder what you think about that kind of relationship.
Oh, what I will say about that relationship is when I say something and that my spouse doesn't even seem to listen to me or flow along with me, I think the love is now depreciating
Mm,
because you see me and you propose to me, not me choosing you. You choose me. Definitely, you are ready to text me with any negative. I mean, what will I say? The mistakes or everything, whether I've been perfect or not perfect. See
mm,
imperfect. See two people who are not perfect to be perfect. That's what we call relationship. None of us is perfect.
mm,
Yes, we are going to make mistakes, but in a situation when I said, "Oh, this is what I don't want," and you keep on doing it, somebody like me, once I turn my back, nobody can return it back. That's me because I'll give you a gap and I will keep on hammering on that particular point. But as you rightly said, in such a relationship, and when you look at our background, especially in Africa, they take women to be slaves. I'm the head of the family. You have to listen to me. And when you look
mm,
at the yes, that's what normally happens that makes those things that happens between couples or between two people who are in relationship. When you say something, I say, oh no, I don't give a damn. This I want it to be done. Men does it because of the African background to their wives. And here, when we get to UK, the women now have upper hand. Say, oh, I've seen how they treat women here. No, I don't care. So we forgot our roots. And I mean, there's a say in our language that any seed that forgets where it springs of, it gets dried. So it brings a lot of calamity to many relationships, separation. Oh, you stay there, I stay here. We can be visiting ourselves, which is not, that's not the way God wants it.
Oh.
So we should be able to tolerate each other, understand each other perfectly. Okay, with me when the man talks and with with the background I have, I respect men. I see them as next to God.
Yeah.
I see them as the one that God said the authority in your hand. But when a man is trying to over use that power on me, I say, okay, I think I'm not comfortable anymore. I never fight anybody. That's me. You never see me fighting with my man, talking nonsense. The next thing you will see me, you won't see me in that house. That's me.
Bam.
Oh, where are you heading to? I will give you an excuse. Oh, I have something to do somewhere, blah, 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 blah. Oh, my daddy was saying I should come and see them. In fact, by the time I pack my bag, you get to my parents' house, you won't see me there. Because I love my peace of mind. I will not disturb your mind. Don't disturb my life. Because there are a lot of things that we face that we should be able to carry ourselves along together. I think love is the most important. Let love reign. When love reign, you understand each other. Your communication will be so effective. And when it is not effective, two of you can sit down and say, "Oh, darling, do you know I said something?" I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. Can you just say it again so that I can understand what you are saying?" That's where we say love is existing.
Yeah.
Then your communication
That
will be more
respect.
effective. Then yes. And when you're not around, if anybody comes to you, say, "Oh, your wife," say, "No, I know what my wife can say." You can be able to say, no one in relationship can say, "Oh, I can start from my husband." With the relationship I can see today. See,
How many
to the
years have you
mother of
been
my
married, if I
children,
may ask?
really, I was in my marriage for 20 years before we broke up. But
Oh.
he got to realize his mistakes, and thanking God for him now when he says, "Oh, I know what Mommy Bolaji can say. This is what your mommy wants to do. This is what your mommy will like to do." So, and my children always said, "So, oh, daddy said this is what we," and exactly that's what we make, mommy. That's what we call effective communication because he knows what he can do. And I will tell them this is what the daddy will not like. He will not tolerate. And it was so. Because why? We know each other right from the beginning. There is no marriage that is
Okay.
perfect. There's always
Of
storm.
course.
But if two of you can tolerate each other, you have laugh last. No marriage that is perfect. Yes, you step on my toes, I step on your toes. But when we look at the children that are involved, we should let that communication be more effective so that we build a good family.
Okay, thank you so much, ma. Thank
Oh,
you. I'll still be coming back to you, so
you're
don't
welcome.
go away. I'll still be coming back to you. So, Mr. Femi, welcome. You came and I was about to introduce you, and then you disappeared.
Yeah,
Welcome.
yeah. I
So,
was trying to
I
connect through my. I was trying. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
yes, yes,
Hello.
yes,
Can you hear me? Okay.
Can
yes.
hear you. We can hear
Okay.
you.
We can hear
I was
you. We
trying to
can hear
connect through my
you.
laptop. Okay. I was trying to connect through my laptop, but it's just malfunctioning. So I have to go use my phone, which I don't want
But
to. I
why
don't
is
like
your
using my
face like
phone
that?
for.
It's like you're frowning. Ogafemi.
No, that's exactly. My laptop is not. My laptop is not connecting. It's malfunctioning. I'm using my phone,
If
and
it's not connected, still
I
smile.
don't like using my phone. Yeah, exactly.
No, smile now. You're scaring all the children watching. Just
Ah,
smile. Smile. Now fight.
all right,
Wow.
excuse me.
Okay.
Wow,
No, not
woo.
be fight.
Mr. Femi. So, my question for you
Yes,
is
sir.
now, like Sister Ibidu said something about, how men are, putting them in a position where they are next to God and everything. And yet you come across where now I'm not doing battle of the sexes, because women too sometimes the thing you'll be telling them is just flying over their head. They are not listening because they're busy talking, they're not listening. But we come across instances where men use their ego and their position to shut down communication. So you will see in some cases where a man will be like, I'm the man of the house, and that's fine now.
Mm,
I'm not entertaining any discussion about it. Or you
mm,
hear, oh, I'm a man, you're a woman, you won't understand. You know, you women, your brains are smaller. You won't understand. I'm a man, I'm a high value man. I know what I'm talking about. And it's like, really? So I want to ask
mm.
you, in your experience in life, about how a man can position himself where he will be able to come across without ego, without, that kind of pride. Because at the end of the day, he's talking to somebody in his family that is joining hands with him to make his family right. So, how can men have that conversation that is still respectful? Because men want to be respected, but do they think women want to be disrespected? We don't want to be disrespected. We want to be respected too. So how can we have that conversation without that disrespect that can come across sometimes? Hello?
Um, the
Oh, okay.
two. Yeah, good. Yeah. Hello, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can hear you.
Thanks for having me, and I say good evening to everyone on board. There's two topics that comes to my mind as regards the our discussion tonight. The first one is valuing the differences, and the
Mm,
second one is the different of life stages. But before I go further, there are a lot of mistakes that parents pass on to their children, and they grow up with it, and then becoming a determining fact of how their wife and they treat their husband. So let me, just that's one thing that's common here. Whatever I say, I always use myself, because I don't like to prove as if maybe I know it all or I'm just talking. Before I go back to discussing further those two topics,
mm,
when my daughter report her brother to me, that's my son, daddy, da 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 da, daddy, da 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 da. What I do is I will resolve that situation, bring it under control, then speak to them individually. Don't make your
mm,
sister your sparring partner. What you are doing now is you're learning how to live with your future wife the way you treat your sister. I also speak to the
mm,
lady. Stop running your mouth against your brother. Learn how to respect your brother and use him as a learning curve when you get married.
mm,
Because why? You are now learning how a man behave. So I always bring that balance to both female, male and female. So now let's now come back to this day and age.
mm,
One thing that we lack, I'm going to use we. I'm not going to men. What we lack is we fail to value our differences, both the men and the women. When a
mm,
couple has a core value differences, maybe religious preference or education preference or home training preference, one tend to use it to usurp the other's authority.
mm,
When I grew up, I was living in Victoria Island, you are living in Agege, a Minimugbe kind of thing.
mm,
I was born in Lagos. You came from your village in Ondo State, Ondo town, come to Lagos. So those differences, if we don't value them, we usurp that authority and turn it to Oga Tomashe instead of couples from different background, selfish, and come together and respect each other, and then use that differences to grow the marriage. But they used to attack each other. That's another
mm,
conflicting issue that will always trigger in our future. Others include how to discipline, the definition of right and wrong. If
Mm-hmm.
my wife say no to my children, will I say yes or I'll support her no? Then when I'm with her secretly, I'll speak to her. You are too tough on the children. And next time, But when I say yes, I am I'm destroying the future of those children. I know what mom said yes, daddy said no. Instead of us to go behind this curtain and go and sort out our difference and then mold it together, perfect things together. Another one. Another one is the way we establish, grow, adopt our values, morals, and goals. You see, when we don't value our differences, the disaster is looming.
Mm.
Then the different life stages. I have studied, I have read all the books from front cover to back cover, and at a time, I just say, you know what, enough of all this 9 to 5. I want to go to entrepreneur. I want to go into business. Daddy, you are a professor now. You are no. You're enough of all those 9 to 5. I want to do business. I want to go into farming. I want to go this. That different life stages, if it's not well handled, if it's not well programmed among the two individuals, I'm telling you that could cause problem. Let me now bring
Mm.
let me now twist it. How many people remember Damilola Taylor?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damilola Taylor's death. That boy that was stabbed
Yes.
15, 20 years ago.
Yes.
Damilola Taylor. Okay. Before that situation, before that issue of stabbing that boy, the couple say, yeah, let's return back to Nigeria. The mom say, no, let's spend some time. The dad begin to go and come back, go and come back. So one of the 4 or 5 months, that's when the boy got stabbed and got killed. Do you know they are
Mm.
divorced? But the man say, it was you because of you they killed my son, and you also you went to Nigeria.
Mm.
Now, so the is under a separate mom and dad. When the dad comes to London, he speaks separately. When the mom goes out of the foundation, she speaks separately. You see, so if we don't handle our different life stages in a mutual, what's the word? Mutual and beneficial
Agreement.
understanding, it will always rock agreement. It will always destroy the marriage. And the ability to give and take, ability to give and you are a nurse. Is it possible you run your shift without doing night duty or twice night duty? So no, the money. And before
Mm.
you know it, most of the time, either the man or the woman is always at work, and then the other one is just by herself or by himself in the bed, and then you know what that could happen. So
Of course.
that mutual understanding is what's lacking now. Fast forward to traveling from where we come from down here. So one of them tends to take the liberty of this environment, and then it gets to his head, gets to her head. Boom, 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 boom.
Mm.
Instead of them to now say, okay, we are now in a system where things are happening. Why don't you now take it further in mutual agreement? Those values, if we don't work on them, that will always be all this issue of position again and
Mm.
again and again. When the children
Mm.
now come to the factor, one wants to
It'll
do the
be
slap, one wants to do the slapping. One say, don't bring a slapping. Let's use words. One say, no, I was trained to receive this slapping and it's my brain. So I've continued that slapping. And before you know it, the social service come into the picture. Musofwe, I
Mhm.
told you. Musofwe, that alone can destroy any marriage. And if the children are watching, the children will not take that attitude to the next level. I
Mm.
don't want to marry her. Look at how my mom is treating my dad. I don't want to marry. Look at how my dad is treating my mom. And they now twist their brain and say, no, marriage is not for me. So the
Mm.
imbalance, which is always my key word in everything we will discuss, is the issue of church, issue of religious, anything. Imbalance is the key that is so destructive. Imbalance. When she say things to me, why don't I keep my mouth shut and listen and ask questions to clarify
Mm.
that I understand what she's saying? Is she happy for my desire to clarify, or she sees that attacking her presentation?
Mm.
Am I coming back home present to work today?
Hello. Hello.
Am I on? Hello?
Yes, yes, yes. You're on. Thank you. You're on.
Yeah, I can hear. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. At work today, at work today there's a plan to send me to Germany 6 months or 6 weeks. But what do you think? Um, why don't you postpone it, or why don't you say no? Because of what we have now. So am I am I am I sincerely presenting that case to her, or I've settled it at work and just going to drop it at her? Uh-huh. She will they want to send me. No. When I get back to work, will I say to them, guys, for now I can't go to Germany, my wife, my children, we've discussed it, it's not the best for this time. Or I finish everything and I just come and tell the so-called Mugu I put at home, hey, madam, I'm going to Germany. They send me off. No discussion. I just imposed on her. So where is imbalance, there will always be a problem, disagreement, and future disaster in the marriage. It has to be a check and balance. This
Mm.
is my intention. This is my plan. What do you think? We rub minds together and I come in agreement and move forward. It's not as if you can't make a decision. The two must come together in one, spiritually, physically, financially, morally, mentally. That uniqueness, if it's removed, there's no marriage. There's no marriage. If
Mm.
imbalance is at the end of the day, there's no marriage. There is no marriage.
Thank
And
you.
when the values
Thank you.
are not upheld, we don't uphold those values, value of differences, value of different life stages. If you don't uphold them, there will be a disaster.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. As you were speaking,
No,
if I,
we
can
are
you please
doing.
come up? Because there's something that was said that Mr. Femi just said now about imbalance, where
Uh-huh.
someone would be, one partner has been told, oh, we want you to do this at work, and they've
Uh-huh.
settled it at work. Oh. Then they'll now come home and tell madam or the yoga, this one is what's happening in my office, and bam. And then it'll be like, but we should discuss. No, it has been done. No, that kind of thing. And like I said, even before he spoke, there's this whole thing about men want respect, and it always makes me question. I'm like, great, yes, men want respect, and I get that, but do do you think women want disrespect? Do you think that we don't want respect too? And is this whole thing of, oh, alpha male, I'm the one who sets the rules and all of that, and it's like, yeah, great for you, alpha male, but you got a female in the house that you've joined your life with. Are you having that conversation? So I want to hear your thoughts on this, because we've seen many cases where it's like, oh, the way I rule my house, the things I do in my house. Benny, the moment you put a woman in that house, it's not your house anymore. It is our house, and all that. So I want to hear your thoughts. Then we'll go to Ron.
A few of the challenges in the presentation of the matter. First things
Mm,
first, let's understand this. I'm trying to remember where I saw this, but we talked about conflict. You realize that conflict starts from when we are talking, then from when we are talking it escalates to when we are shouting because we're not being heard, then from when we are shouting it escalates to when we want to exert power, from when we want to exert power it escalates to where we want to do fist fight. You see what I
mm,
mean? I think you're getting a
mm,
chance of what
Yes.
it is. But you cannot go from A to Z. So before you hear a man say, I'm the man of the house, ask yourself what was the conflict and where did it start from?
mm,
Before you hear a woman say, I'm not being heard, what was the conflict and where did it start from?
Mm.
So it's not a thing of, so once you see people reach for the absolute power, or a teacher reaches for the cane, the teacher will always tell you, I warned you before. I told you, if
Mm.
you make noise, I'll flog you. You did not say so. So we can't neglect that part about it. So coming back to what you were saying, a lot of times there's this thing that has happened and is very interesting. I was talking about it today with a person, and I said this too. A lot of the examples that we're giving about men nowadays make me wonder, have you really seen a good man lately?
Mm.
If you haven't, can you define what you mean by a good man? Then that's a man. Then compare all the people that you have called men to that standard. If they
Mm.
fail, they are not yet men. So let us not go that the man does this, a man does this, a man does this. Again, in a place of authority, you would ask yourself, why is a man trying to exercise and say, this is the way we are going? Somebody told me something when I asked the same question, and he said, the buck, sometimes when we grew up knowing that the buck stops with us. If you were married to me, Abby, you would probably tell me that, if anything, I'll talk with my husband and we'll do it. Your husband can say, I'll talk with my wife, but he knows that if shit hits the roof, who is the captain of this ship that it will come to? He cannot go to daddy and say, I did not. See, my father will say, is it not your house? Did you not decide? I can't even go to your mother. Your mother will be like, is it not your house? Did you not decide?
Mm.
Now, it does not preclude him to have absolute power, but it actually comes with so great a responsibility that if I'm a guy, I cannot explain it to you. There is a fine young lady that you people saw that is upstairs here. I do not have an idea to come and be able to tell her that I cannot protect you and we need to discuss that the thief is at the door. Hmm?
That would be silly.
Why is it silly? If we're going to say that's how we want to be doing it, no. So sometimes the buck is actually resting on your shoulders. And anybody that has taken that responsibility of having a wife in his house, it's not something that I have no time to be beating somebody. I have no time to be quarreling with somebody. I have a time to be understanding that I have decided that I will take care of these people that are under my roof, and this is how I will stand. That's what being a man is about. It is not glamorous. It is not glorious. I would not receive thanks on a daily basis. I would not be thanked for it. It is not because the society will say, the society does not have time to see me cry. Let me be honest with you. That's why people don't shed the tears. It's not because we don't cry. We do cry. But we have time to say, this box stops with me. If he bypasses my wife, if it bypasses me, it will hit my wife. If it hits my wife, I cannot bear it. So
If
the
I
box
want
stops
to
with
drop
me.
a petty example, I want to drop a petty example, and I want you to hear me out. Now, I grew up in Nigeria, like a lot of us did. And I know for a fact, when I was growing up in Dokpomu, for a fact, because we the kids used to laugh about it, right? Daddy would be
Mm.
like, oh, you are protecting the house, like that, right? When it's night time, daddy has eaten dinner, he has watched his news, he will go into the room and go and sleep. Guess who is going to be closing those, closing the gates, closing the doors, making sure that everywhere is safe? Mommy. She's the one
Have
checking
you
everything.
have you
Checking everything
have
to
you
make
ever
sure that
seen
everything is locked. And yet, daddy is the one that is protecting the house. So, not true.
no, but have you ever noticed that there's something that used to be very funny? Go and pick any strong woman that you know, and I'll ask you to look at her husband. Let's start from somebody said. Let's start from Eliza that just died now. Let me call her Eliza.
Mm,
And you discover that as strong as she was, timeline of her decline started when Philip died.
yes. Because
Okay.
that man was
Pick
a rock.
pick pick anybody. And when somebody is your rock, it's not because he's physically able to protect you. The buck stops with me.
Mm,
You've had a hard day, you come back from work, I have to be there to listen to you because the buck stops with me. You scream and shout and stumble and throw, the buck stops with me. I don't have somebody else to go back. So it is not, that is the responsibility that we are lacking. So I have a whole lot of people that marry boys who cannot say, see, this buck stops with me.
I like that. Married boys.
You
I
just can't say
love
the
that.
buck stops with me. When you say the buck stops with me, it does not mean that you're shouting on your wife. I am the man. I wear the trousers. I don't. What do I have the time to shout on that with you? That way we're talking about. Somebody gave me a very big advice. Ron's cosmate told me something. He said when it comes to matter of aesthetics, sorry, somebody is
Someone.
I think let me.
mute
Oh,
Agafemi's zone, I guess.
okay, yeah. Just mute him, please. And someone is trying to join us.
He
Sorry,
said
Oh,
Flo,
when
don't
it
worry.
comes to He said when it comes to matter of aesthetics, will the couch be purple? Will the bed be brown? Will we wear ashebi or not wear ashebi? Will we close the window, lock the curtains? Okay, don't argue. It's okay, do it. When it comes to matter of principles, this is where you stand. So because of that, I have no chance to be arguing and quarreling with you because the times where you will need me to be strong has not arisen.
mm,
What we have been trying to say, I've seen this back and forth about what does it mean a man doing this thing. Very strong men are not, do not talk. They listen a lot more. They're not being hard. That was the reason why when we were younger, they tell you do something. They'll first tell your mother. Then they not tell your mother, I'll tell you, I'll tell your father, you just die. You just
um,
die on your own. Why did you die? Why did you die? So that
mm,
presence is required. That box stops with me. However, in everything, there's always, you say, people that have done it wrong, people that have gone the wrong way. Yes, there are always people that have gone the wrong way. However, if we pick what standard and we want and say this is what the standard a man should be, whether you say protective, providing, and the rest of them, you want to have the person that says this box stops with me. No matter how you look at it, as a partner, you want to have that. If you, the woman, wants to be that partner that does it, understand that responsibility.
mm,
We
mm.
did not crave it. We did not want it. We did not get it. It just happened. We cannot nurture as much as you can, but we can do the heavy, even in kitchen self. If you enter kitchen, one of the first things you tell me to do is to shift that mortar, bring it here, be pounding the yam. Why would you not tell me to cooking the soup? Let me pound the yam. It's just it's not a role. It's not a because it's gender. No, it's just the fact that the box stops with me. So it comes with that responsibility. What I will say finally is that if you ever have this problem where you're wondering, this man does this, this man. This is just a thought for myself. I was telling myself today. Anybody, next time somebody tells me that, the men I meet, all the men I meet are this and this and this. I always used to say it. Before I would tell you that I've said this several times. I always tell you, change the room. If you want to lose weight and you'll be eating McDonald's, stop going to McDonald's. Go to another restaurant.
Abi?
You will find the people there. So if you tell me that all the men you meet are in a certain way, I would ask you, you cannot change them. You can change the room you go to.
Mm, 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 mm. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, before Ron speaks, I said there was something I wanted to read out. I've seen quite a bit of it, but I'm just going to read. A couple said that a matured partner keeps the marriage. Says every marriage has a mature part, an immature partner, and a mature partner. It says it's very rare to find a marriage that has two equally mature people. There's always one person who, at one point in time, it doesn't mean that that person is always the immature, but sometimes, you know, it shifts. And it says, who is the immature person? The one who is quick to get angry, who doesn't apologize easily, who acts before thinking, who feels entitled to everything, who thinks they're doing their partner a favor, who thinks the relationship ends, that if the relationship ends, they'll meet a better person. Expresses that they're the one anchoring the finances at home. Hey, it's my money, it's my money. Either way, it doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman, just the person. Keeps malice after every misunderstanding, abandons food due to misunderstanding, while the other one refuses to prepare food because of provocation, does not forgive and forget. They always feel like they deserve better. Um, and they're intelligent, but they don't have common sense. So the person can be intelligent, but common sense is rare. They might be attractive but lack good sense of judgment. They might be outspoken but proud. They're always the one threatening to leave a relationship, either verbally or non-verbally. So someone can just disappear and be like, "Well, I'm not interested in doing this because well." So that's an immature person. Um, okay, but then okay, so this is just basically, so when you're looking at what it is about communication, because a lot of these things about mature and immature is really about communication. That when I'm talking, are you listening? Are you really hearing what I'm saying, or you're just waiting for me to finish so that you can then prove to me how right you are? I was watching something on Instagram recently, and the guy said, "Do you know how many times I'm actually right? But I never tell my wife that I am. I just keep quiet and go, okay, honey." And later on, she'll now come back and go, "Ah, honey, you know that thing that you were saying? You are right, though." So she's the one who now comes to tell you that you are right, though. That he tries never to prove a point with his wife. That he'll just say something, and then she's going, you just be like, "Oh, okay, babuala," and he'll keep quiet. The same heart that is going, hey, hey, hey. She's the same one that would now come back and go, "Ah, honey, you know what you're saying? You're right too." And I was like, wow, isn't that a place of trust and respect? That you might be right, but you don't have to insist that I'm the right one. That yeah, I'm right. I know it. Let me give you the kiniko, that kind of stuff. So yeah, run, because we are getting close to where we are going to end. So I will let you finish off the Ron speaks, and then I'll say all the thank yous and all of that.
Oh, you knew there was time while you were busy reading unrelated quotes. You knew there was time. Eh? Okay. Anyway, without
Oga,
further
you
ado,
have more than 8 minutes to
You are all
speak. I
welcome
think that's more than enough for you.
Abby, what is looking for trouble?
I don't even have
You are
time
all
to give
welcome
you
to another
trouble.
segment of Ron Explains.
See, he wanted you to just do that
okay.
so he can do unexplained.
So
Let him do what he
why is Happy
needs.
Fast? At a time when I want to say something very important, Happy Fast disappears.
Because he's not interested.
Happy Fast, where are you?
Bumi tell her, said she's listening. Please open your mouth and talk. And she
Okay.
said, make it good. She said, make it good.
But we tell her better wear earplugs though, because this one is going to hurt.
Before you go on, although I'll read the comments, Sha. I'll read the comments. Oh yeah, yeah, talk your talk.
Okay, so
Hey, Maymoon.
here's the. I wonder why Memoon is here when Nepa is here.
Welcome.
Okay, so
Hey, how you doing, darling?
I'm good.
Okay,
first
we are
and
going to
foremost,
extend the show by another 10 minutes because I want to hear Maymoon. Oh yeah, Ogaron,
okay,
talk.
let Memoon talk because don't explain will not
But
make
because he
sense if
likes to
we
be the
explain
last
talk.
person. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Memoon
Oh yeah,
talk.
Maymoon. We'd like to hear your thoughts.
No, no thoughts, no thoughts. I'm just joining in actually. I've had a very hectic day.
Hey,
There's usually no
yeah.
light at the time this show is running. So I'm just joining up. Go ahead.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
so
Mr. Femi,
I'm not.
before you go on, Mr. Femi said he's having problems with connection. That's why he's not on.
Oh, okay. So I need to take this off. Okay, yeah, good. So I wish Auntie Budu is still on. Is she still?
She's still on.
No.
She's still here. She's here.
Oh, okay. I can't see her. That's why I need
She's still
to
on. She's still on.
personally. Yeah, I need to personally thank Auntie Ibudu for bringing a lot of
Ibidun, not
mature.
Ibudu.
Auntie Bidu, I really
Mm-hmm.
want to thank her for bringing in so much maturity and experience. In fact, while I was listening to her, I was contemplating, is there need for Ron explains after all, after listening to her? Because she hits a lot of the kind of point you hear very women, women of that time, the kind of mature thought pattern that saves lives, not destructive thought patterns and all that. But I'm really I'll say thank you, Ma. I really appreciate your coming in today. Then Femi also brought some things. He pointed out a lot of things. Now, yeah, here's the reality. A family where the wife, right, is constantly always countermanding the husband's instruction in the home is destructive. When I say countermand, like a man before he leaves to work,
Sorry,
he says,
sorry, Ron. Sister Ibidu, please, I hope you are listening because I want you to give a comment to whatever Ron says.
mhm. So when a man is leaving the house, he gives certain instructions through his wife and say, please, I want my children or the rest of my household to move in this direction. Then the man leaves, then the woman starts countermanding everything he has said before leaving the house. It's really, really destructive. There's no sense whatsoever. If you don't agree with him, have that discussion with him before he leaves. Don't wait for him to leave, then start reversing all he has said or done after he leaves the home. It could be going to work, it could be traveling out of the country, it could be anything. He's the head of the home. Discuss it with him, reason with him, see whether you can come to a compromise. Secondly, another thing I've noticed, and I just noticed this one recently that destroys marriages, is when a young couple gets married. I've heard this a couple of times where the man and the woman, they're having argument, and the woman says, this is how we used to do it in my father's house. At least I've heard it 3 times before. This is how we used to do it in my father's house. That's the woman telling the husband. And I'm like, how do you even think about it to even say it out? Like, it's better you just tell the man that you're very stupid than to even mention that. There are ways to go about these things. And again, I'm not talking about an iron fist home. I'm not talking about a home where the man is ruling with iron fists, with draconian law. No, that's not what I'm talking about. You see, and this thing starts from beginning. Like Sister Ibidun says, you meet a guy, you say you want to get married. And I always say this thing to ladies, I say it every time. Please pick guys you respect, that you can hand your life, you can place your life in his hands. Somebody you trust that can protect you, somebody you trust that can lead you, somebody you respect well enough that you know that if he says go left and I go left, I'm safe, I'm fine, my interest is protected, I am covered. Those are the kind of guys you should pick. Don't just pick anybody because you have to get married. You pick people like that. And again, even though we are, because sometimes even as head of the family, you can be blind spotted. You can't see everything as a man. There are certain things you can't see. You can't see. You can't be everywhere at the same time. You are not omnipresent. You can't be everywhere. You can't be all knowing at the same time. So there might be times your wife can just come and say, if we do this thing, see the outcome. Oh, I've tried it before, and this is what happened. Of course, she has earned the right to share her own experience with you. So it's going to be foolish of me as the head of the house to say, I better get out, let me do it. Anyways, that's foolishness. It's not, yes, you're the head, but at the end of the day, you're biting your nose to spite your face. You just want to show your guy. You'll miss it. It's not going to work. But now, even when we are agreeing, we are tolerating and all that, I need to stress out something. Like Ifeanyi clearly stated, it's hard being head of the home. It's hard being head of the family. It's difficult. It's not as glorious as you people think. Everything still falls on your head. As the man, everything falls. If the marriage succeeds, on your head. If your children do well, on your head. If they do badly, on your head. Everything is virtually, you are the head of the home. So, and that is why in the Bible, when they were saying, if you want to appoint a bishop, elder, a deacon, or any senior pastoral position in church, they said the man must be in control of his household. Let me repeat it again. You must be, not me talking more, it's in the Bible. You must be a man who is in control of your household. Now, when I say control of your household, I don't mean that You wake up in the morning, you pour cold water on your wife, you kick her out of bed, you body slam the children, and that's not what this being in control is all about. That's not what we are talking about. You should be able to give directives in such ways that even the woman cannot argue with you because she understands that it's for everybody's interest. You get what I'm saying? They should understand that, and that's when pure leadership comes in. You understand? And women, I need you to also understand that even in the Bible, it says the man, the instruction for man and woman are different. They told, we are the only ones they told to go and love our wives. God just said, husband, love your wife. They said, love your wife. Then they ask you people to respect your husband. You know the reason why?
In the book of Colossians 3, you are talking of.
Yes, ma. Yes. Yeah, the spirit. I was telling you before you disappeared. Okay. So the reason being that you see men's ego. The ego of man is as big as his head. It's bigger than his head. The man's ego is bigger than his heart. It's as big as his head. So you as a woman need to understand that your job is to massage that ego so that it will be functioning properly. Your job is just to be massaging the ego. And that's why you see people around kings in the palace hailing him, chanting, and saying, it's not as if the king does not know that they are winding him. The point is this. Anything they want at that point, the king will give them. But he knows they are winding him. The same way when you want to ask something from your creator, Father, Lord, Father Abraham, you have done this, you've done that, you conquered, you destroyed, you created. God knows. God knows that.
By saying God, dog. Amanyu ajalori sodeni. You can't compare to keep animal for you in the farm.
Your creator understands that you're a crook, but you're asking for something. But because you want that thing, you're going to be singing praises and chants and all that just to get his attention. It's the same. This thing is not complicated. Men are not too complicated. If you break our brains and see the motherboard that is connecting men, it's very straight circuit. It's nothing too complicated there. You just need to understand. Men are supposed to. Sorry?
Permission to leave, please.
Why?
I'm just not. Yeah, sorry.
I can't see you.
No, she's saying she wants to leave.
Oh,
I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay, Abby.
Are you?
You're muted. You're muted.
This conversation is turning into male-female thing, and that's not what it is. And so this conversation, and Abby, you are the one coordinating this. This conversation is about communication. It's not gender thing, and we are not in the church. Okay, so when we are talking, we know that there are other people we are not talking for Christians. We are talking generally. You are talking about your own faith, but make it stand that you, as a Christian, know this is what you do. Don't make everything sound very absolute. We do this every now and again. And today, for some reason, it's just not. I'm not just jealous.
I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to be accused of jumping down his throat. So I was like, I'll let him speak.
Let me land. Let me land.
I was going to say, not everybody follows Bible.
Wait, so Habi, if I'm giving an example, right? I'm not seeing you, so I can't explain it to you well. Habi,
you can explain without seeing her.
Can you leave your mic on? I want to ask you. If I'm giving you an example, right?
You're not giving me an example. You're not giving me an example.
Everybody.
You're explaining to people. So when you're explaining, you have to make it something that is very clear that you, as a Christian, know this is what you do. This conversation is not about male.
I didn't tell you that all of them. All the things I've said so far, I have not even personalized one. I've not personalized anything.
That's what she's saying. That's what she's saying. That if you're going to talk about the Bible, personalize it to you because that's your lifestyle. Not everyone who is listening.
I'm not even preaching to people. I'm explaining why there's an ego issue and why I was dealing with ego. Then when I'm done with ego, then I'll deal with emotions. How men and women are to relate with each other, right? Men are supposed to tend to their wives' emotions. So I was going to get to that part. That's why I said one instruction says respect, the other instruction says love. Do you understand? Two different things. And if we understand these two different dynamics, everybody will be fine. We always come into conflict when nobody wants to see eye to eye. Nobody wants to agree. This one wants to say, no, I will enter trouser with you. The other one said, no, I will push you aside. That may be the head. Nobody is communicating. And at some point, we have to draw the line and say, okay, fine. These are our roles. These are things we'll do. You, okay, you win. Let me be very frank with you. Even when negotiating, it's not every objection that is admissible. Like, for instance, you might have a deep, as a person, let's say as a woman, you might have something that is fundamentally not in line with what you want. But at the welcome, Madam Gumi.
Someone's thing is giving
I see
feedback. I don't know what's going on.
Somebody's using two machines.
Someone's using two devices, so it's giving
Somebody's
feedback.
using two devices. Okay. So in every case, it's not going to be like because this guy agrees. Sometimes the man might disagree, but what he's disagreeing on is not fundamental enough to cause quarrel. It's not like it's like me personally. I don't pick on every fight. If I'm having an argument, the first thing I sit down and do, I wait to this thing we are fighting over. If somebody, an elder, comes to ask us what is causing this quarrel, and I say A, B, C, D, will that sound stupid? Will that sound sensible? Will you see me as a mature person? Then if they say, oh, if I say that yes, I'm on my right and this thing is fundamental, I'll continue. But if it's not, I just like, okay, you win, don't worry, let there be peace. Do you understand? But it's not something that is going to be reoccurring every time. So even in sports, because I'm not going to, because I'm saying I should not use Bible. Even in sports, there's always a captain. There are many competitive sports, you know. They are equal, but there's a captain. Somebody has to make a decision when it matters. Two people cannot make rational decisions when they are high. It's not going to work. So again, back to the same thing I'm saying. It's all about balance. A little here, a little there, but everybody just needs to understand their place. It's simple.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Bumitala. Hey, this one that you joined us, hallelujah. Sister Ibodu, I'm coming back to you, ma. But Bumi, I know you have things to say. I'm already seeing in the comments. Commentary is flowing. Okay, so yes, I'm Memoon, I'm still waiting to hear from you too. Okay, so Bumi, let us hear your thoughts because I can sense.
It's Ron now. Ron is aggravating us with the nonsense he talks about. I mean, Abby, thank you so much for interrupting him and tell. Ron, you talk as though if all of us are Christians and that the Bible is the authority. It's a show that isn't based on anyone's religion. Isn't Mamoon even a Muslim? I don't understand why you talk with such authority from the Bible. Like, most of us are Christians. Whatever your religion tells you to do, it doesn't mean that
if you're an Ifa worshiper, come with your Ifa principles.
I think that you should learn to speak without going to the Bible, especially as some of us see the Bible as the creation of all the fucking gender problems to begin with. So they're not going to be, as far as some of us are concerned, that's not where we're going to find a solution. But you know what? I wanted to say something to you, Ron. I mean, in this life, everybody's free to have the kind of marriage where they want. So if they want a marriage where somebody's the head and the rest follow, that's up to both of you. If both of you are happy with that, that's fine. But there's this consistent and persistent idea from you that this is the way it's supposed to be. And part of that, and this is so sad because you talking about a male ego and dance around the male ego, and auntie seem to be agreeing with you. And I've always maintained that this is such a terrible idea that Africans spread. The male ego is so fragile. And also want to see the males as strong, but they're the ones with the fragile ego. That goes against everything any spiritual any spiritual language will teach you in this world. The strongest person is the one whose ego is in check. But we constantly encourage African men to indulge themselves and for African women to cater to their stupid fucking egos when we should be actually encouraging them to check their ego for the sake of peace and for progress, for growth, and not indulge that ego. Like, it's crazy to me. The person who wants to lead should be an example. First of all, I don't think anyone should lead. I think it should be a partnership. But if you choose to lead, that's your business. But if you do choose to lead and you still think that you should be the one who has a fragile ego, that is completely ass backwards, in my opinion.
How does the fragile ego work? Can you
Fragile
explain
ego
it?
means everybody has to
Hello?
dance.
No,
Yeah,
Abby,
it means
please
people
let
have
me
to
do it.
dance.
Let me undo this. She's talking to me, I beg. Let me undo this. How does the fragile ego
It means
work?
that you're the one that they can't tell the truth. It means that when they feel like, oh, daddy is not going to allow a girl to go to school, so we'll trick him. We'll say like this so that he will think it's his idea. Everybody knows what we mean when we talk about dancing around male ego. And I'm here to tell you it is not right. It is not. We think it's a good thing, that it means that we're sharp as women, but all we're really doing is making our men inferior. That's what we're doing, because a true leader is the one who can check his own ego. Even on the world stage, look at like America compared to China. China is always so measured. They don't care about how you see them. You can laugh at them, they'll be fine as long as they know that they're doing the right thing. But America, in fact, that's a bad example. But generally speaking, the person who cares the most about how people see things, how people will judge them, is the weakest person. The person with the ego that is fragile, the ego that has to be catered to, is the weak person, not the strong person. We need to stop saying that shit in Africa.
So basically, the guy in the marriage who keeps quiet and allows his wife to walk over him is the strong person, in your opinion.
No, that's not it at all. The person.
So okay, explain it better. I'm getting you wrong. Getting you wrong.
This actually has nothing to do with marriage. It's to do with personalities and individuals, right?
We're discussing relationships and marriages here.
Yeah,
That's
I know, but you're not understanding what I'm saying, so I'm trying to break it down. As a human being, right? There's some things that bother me. Some of them are real. They're issues. Like if I lost my job, I don't have money. That's a real problem, right? But let's say I lost my job, but I have money, I'm just embarrassed. That's a completely different kind of problem. You understand? So if I lost my job and I'm embarrassed, and somebody needs me to help them, and I can help them, but I don't want to tell them that I've lost my job, so I end up lying. That's my ego interfering in my life. That is not the behavior of a strong person. A strong person is not ruled by their ego. They don't care what people think, what the world thinks. They care about things that actually matter, not how things look. So when we say that we're catering to someone's ego, we're catering to their worst tendencies, the part of them that is superficial, that is shallow, that is not grounded in anything that is real or important.
Sorry, Abby.
Yes.
Abby, what's the
Yes.
cutoff time today? Can we make it to 2? Can we make it to 2 hours, or when do we cut off?
Well, it's looking like we can extend another 10 minutes.
Okay, because me and Bumi need to trash this thing out for the marbles. Okay, once and for all. Because we don't want to deal with this matter again. After today, Bumi, we are not dealing with this matter again. So
right.
basically, if there's a
But you
fundamental
can't dictate
direction,
that. You can't dictate that, Ron.
I'm not dictating anything. I'm just telling Bumi that we are not going to fight over this again. That's all.
Okay.
So, Bumi, if a man, and I'm not talking about a sociopath or psychopath, right? There are standards that he sees that, okay, if we follow these standards, right, we are going to have a better outcome. I'm just giving an example. It's not standard, just a basic example. And the lady is trying to impose her own and say, no, my friend is doing this one, we must do this one in our house, or my dad did this one, just that kind of argument. And the guy is trying to let her see reasons. And there's always constant conflict. Do you think it's proper for the guy to just keep quiet and say, now you win, I don't tire, do what you like?
No, I don't. And I heard you say that earlier, and I felt like you were conflicting two completely different problems. Anybody, the man or the woman, can have that idea in their head that the way they did it in their house is the way we should keep going forward, and that will always be problematic because both of you should have the freedom and the space to create your own traditions and your own way of doing things. But
50-50,
woman
Abby.
is, yeah, no, not 50-50. It depends on how. If somebody came from an orphanage and they don't have any traditions and they don't care, they might tell you, go ahead. Whatever you did in your house, we can do in our house. It depends on what you want. What I'm trying to say is that the way you phrased it sounds as though it's only women that say that. I don't think that's right. I think anyone, male or
I
female,
just
can
gave you, I
have this
just made it generic so
misconception.
that it doesn't phrase that way. That's why I made it
Okay.
generic now. So that it
All
doesn't
right. So
sound
then,
that way.
okay. So then the second part of what you asked for me, you shouldn't keep quiet about something that you're not happy about. That's what makes marriages work, is that if the thing is still, if the matter is still bothering you, then it should not be closed until it's no longer bothering you. And if you feel like it's closed before it stops bothering you, you don't have a very good and open communication in that relationship, and that's problematic. It's not about who wins the argument. It's not about who gets their way in the end. More than anything, it's about feeling heard. Both people have to feel heard. A lot of times we don't even need to get our way. We just want to be on record that this is how I feel. Oh. And once we know that you have heard that, a lot of people are like, okay, we can do it your way, but this is, I just want to go on record to have said that I don't think our kids should go to private school. I think they should go to public school. But if you think they should go to public school, fair enough. You understand? There's nothing wrong with that. But to say that, oh, I don't even want to hear what you have to say. This is how we used to
No,
do
no,
it.
no,
This is
that's not
how
what I
I'm going to do
said.
it. That's more
No, no,
problematic.
no, no. I was drawing from Auntie Bidun's example. She gave an example whereby you are always having this argument with your spouse every time. And every time the spouse keeps repeating that thing that you don't want to be done. It gets to a point, and I see a lot of men do this. They'll be like, you know what? I just don't have the energy to fight. Do what thou wilt. And he just locks up. He's not going to quarrel with you. He's not going to keep malice, but he's just going to lock up that part and pretend like it doesn't exist. I see a lot of men doing it today. And they do it a
But
lot today.
that's unhealthy. Very, very unhealthy.
Exactly.
You know,
You see, next time before you come guns blazing with Shakabula and bazooka
no,
and
but I don't
everything,
blame. No,
calm
no,
down.
I'm not. Hold on. I'm not blaming the
You were
women for
expecting
that.
me to fail. That's
You
why
as
you
a
came out.
Wait
man,
now.
let me finish. This doesn't have anything to do with gender, whether it's the man or the woman. If somebody is not happy about something, but just for the sake of peace, they decided to go ahead with it, you're doing something wrong. Basically, because you don't want to be stressed, you're choosing something you know you don't want, and you're going to be resentful, and it's going to affect the marriage later on down the road. You're not being the bigger person by keeping quiet. No. And of course, the person who won't even let you, listen to you or discuss or be open to other, they're problematic as well. But to think that if you just keep quiet and swallow it, that you're being the bigger person, I don't agree with that at all, whether it's the woman doing that or the man. No matter how difficult it is, you have to have these things. You cannot, don't hold your person in your hands, because it never ends well.
And you know where we can apply this logic? In child upbringing. You come, because basically, I'm not saying all the time, but basically, like while I was growing up, my mom was the chief enforcer, like the chief disciplinarian. My dad was just there in case the offense or the case file is
Right.
too much for my mom. Then he's like the Supreme Court. But basically, my dad does not interfere with domestic affairs. He just looks and walks away.
And
But
that's okay if he's okay with that.
no, he trusts my mom that my mom will enforce. He trusts her 100%. Now, how about a situation where we know that, okay, see, discipline is underrated today. I know you agree with me that child discipline is totally, we virtually allow our kids to do whatever they like these days. Am I lying?
I think you're wrong. I think we just don't discipline them the way we used to discipline them.
Either
Not that
ways,
we're not
they have
disciplining
more
them.
freedom today. And now we
True,
are seeing
yes.
the outcome in society. And all of us are pretending like we don't see it. We just act like, oh, and the times have changed. The truth of the matter is that we've dropped the ball. That's just the basic truth. We've dropped the ball, and we are seeing in families where people are repeating the same mistake. Now, it could be father, it could be mother. I'm not accusing any gender. We have had situations where some guys are over spoiling and overindulgent. They just want to spoil their kids because they don't have time to be with them. So in that absence, they try to use money to make up for it, thereby creating more problems that they are trying to avoid. We see this every time. So it's not just a woman thing. The men do this too. We also see women that, okay, they just watch TV and they say, oh, this is the new way they are raising kids, and let us put them on timeout or naughty corner, or let them write their name on the board. You know, all these modern things, modern techniques that they're doing. And the man is like, this thing is not going to work, or these children are wiser than all this nonsense we're implementing. They are too sharp. They're like, no, 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 they will learn. And it brings conflict. And the guy say, okay, raise them as you want. Then tomorrow something happens and say, did I not tell you? You get where I'm
Well, you
coming from?
can't. Well, our
Yeah.
parents beat us when we were growing up. In the UK, you can't. You will go to prison. So,
It's the
what
same
are
thing
you
we
going
are
to say about
saying.
that?
We're saying the same thing. Remember that even while there's a law, let me give you an example of somebody that we're living with. Do you know what she does? Anytime the dad wants to smack the daughters, you know what she does? She'll come and defend the daughters. But guess what she was doing in the background? She was nudging the kids to report the incidents at school. So one of those days, the school sent for the man to come. They said they've had three in South Africa. If you have three complaints, they will invite you. The school will invite you that why did you touch the kids like 3 times? Then after so much interrogation, when the dad now took them to KFC and he was talking with them, only to discover that it was the children sold their mom out. They threw their mom under the bus and said it was their mom that encouraged them to go report the dad at school because she didn't want them.
Okay, well, that's a one-off thing. I'm talking
No,
about
no,
in
I'm
the
just giving an
UK here.
example. Listen, it's not gender battle. I'm just telling how we get it wrong because we are not cooperating. The whole idea is that the husband and wife must agree in order to steer that ship. Otherwise, there's going to be major consequential issues ahead. So this is
Can
why
I
I'm
respond?
yeah.
Can I say a quick something about it?
Okay,
I feel
Ifeanyi
like
wants
now
to
I have a
speak
best.
too.
Yeah, sorry, Abby.
Oh
I feel
yeah,
like
but
now
me
I have
talk
a
and then
better.
Ifeanyi. Mm-hmm.
Sure, that I have a better idea of what it is that Ron was getting at all along. First of all, you guys have to have kids. I know we've before, but I think sometimes we make the mistake of thinking of not realizing that whenever you're raising children, you're not raising them for the time that you grew up in. So sometimes we panic, like, how would these ones cope with life the way that we're raising them? But actually, they're not gonna live in the same world that we lived in. But that's a completely different topic. When it comes to raising children or just any kind of discussion with a husband and wife, I believe this is how you should have your deal breakers, the things over which you know that, sorry, Oga, we have to find a way that we both agree because this is a big deal for me. And you have to have the ones that you don't really care, and you have to have the ones that you're going to be willing to compromise on. Everybody should know that they cannot have their way all the time. No one should expect to have their way all the time, even if you think because you're the man, it should be you, it shouldn't. Everyone in a marriage should be willing to compromise, should be aware that they will have to compromise, that they will have to do some shit that they don't like. Maybe it's important to you that your kids are really well disciplined and she's traumatized by you hitting her kids. You're gonna have to compromise, you know?
Thank you.
So
I really appreciate that answer. Last question before I hand over to Abby back. Do you think?
Okay.
Wait, last question. And Bumi, do you think I'm a compromiser?
I think you're very
Please,
reasonable.
Ifeanyi,
I'm
Ifeanyi,
reasonable.
over
I'm
to you.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Abby, did
Over
you
to
hear
you.
what she
So,
said?
Are you two fighting
Ifeanyi,
again?
so
Bumi, thank you so much for
I'll
coming in and at least getting a few things straight because it indeed started to feel like a sermon. And I didn't want to jump in because I've been accused many times of jumping and not letting people speak. So I was like, okay, let it
The whole
flow
day you
and
were
we'll see where
jumping
we
in.
get
I don't
to.
know what you're talking about.
So yeah, but thank you very much. So if I yeah, you I know you want to say something. So yeah, we will end
no no
on if I and then I'll say thank you to everyone. Yeah.
I just what I wanted to say was in let me put it this way.
By the
One of
way,
the few
hi
things I used to
Fine, I
teach.
missed you. It's been a minute.
Hi Bumi, I missed you too. One of the few things I used to teach people is to say, do not become that which you so loathe. In whatever you do not become that
Mm.
which you so loathe. That being said, I feel that today also too, in as much as we were trying to make a balance, we also went the other way. There could have been a better way of telling Ron that, hey, not everybody here is Christian. Because in trying to do that, we might
I will
have
get
just
her.
made
Don't worry, don't
Ron.
worry. Don't
Hold
worry
on, hold
yourself.
on.
I'll
No,
get
no,
her
no, no,
back.
no. Don't
Eh,
worry
can
about
you
it. Just
just
say,
let him finish, please,
I'm
so I
just let
can
me
round
finish.
up?
So we might have just made
Yeah,
that
that's
to
okay.
swing the other way. To swing the other way. And this is not to say one was right, one was wrong. I'm just saying, hey, let the man in. If what we're talking about was effective communication, we could have let the man finish. Then we let him know that, okay,
It's
Ron,
not
not
about
everybody.
the
I was going to.
man.
Hold on
It's
now,
not
hold on. I
about
was
the
going
man.
to.
It's about
Hold
God.
on, hold on. Hold on, I was going to finish. Once again, I was going to finish. We could have let him finish saying what he was saying and then tell him, Ron, this is how we feel about it. And that way, it doesn't sound like you interrupted Ron and he looks like maybe the outsider. I was going to say, Ron, not everybody is Christian and not everybody, that's fine. At the same time, also, too, we have to realize that that is what he bases himself on. And if Ron is going to be Ron will bring that. So it is still on our own ears to decipher what we want to hear, but take out what the meat is. Interestingly, as time goes on, we've seen Bumi tell and Ron agree. That's interesting to see. If we listen, just as we just learned, if we listen and let him finish, we're able to say, okay, this is the direction he will go. That way, we don't hurt Habib Fash, who's hot, and we don't hurt Ron too, who's hot.
Mm.
I
That
mean,
aside,
honestly, I'm
Bumi,
emotionally touched.
Bumi,
I'm
that
really
aside,
touched.
Bumi, my own issue with Bumi that made me laugh was Bumi picked China to give us an example. Really? And then you
I know
caught
I went
yourself
too
when
far.
you wait
I
now.
went too
No,
far. I went
you caught yourself when you realize that if we go by the tenants, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation. The second thing
oh
was
god.
you nicely got us to a point of where if somebody chooses to be the leader after we've leveled the ground, in other words, you still realize that at some point somebody has to leave.
No, I think there are some
No,
situations
no,
that
no,
require
no, no, no,
partnership
no.
and some that
Why I
require a
pointed out
leader.
what you did? No, why I pointed out what you did was you gave yourself open so that you can say, okay, it's fine. No, if you decide more that you want to lead this thing, it's okay. But what I was bringing out wasn't that you were wrong or anything else. But what I wanted to say was this: what we have found, even with statistics, comes out to the fact that you can have this conversation. You can be satisfied with the fact that you have been heard. What we find is most men, many men, 99% of men, we don't like conversations that are long. Just now, my wife said that, we need to discuss about investment. I told her, honey, what I had is we need to talk. That's exactly what I had. To you, you just told me expressly that we need to talk about our finances, how we're going to invest and make more money. To me, I just had we need to talk. And what that one sounds like a very good dream. The other one sounds like this is problem. It wasn't anything. We came with the software. We are wired to solve your problem and move on. We're not wired to have the long meetings and have it. So when you get us in that emotional bond, we reach for the one escape. You're right, let's go. Let the meeting end. And to be honest, what comes back as feedback from you come back and he doesn't want to talk. He never wants to talk. He's always avoiding it. He's not avoiding it. See this thing. Okay, there's in my office, there's something called the Fast Five. If you cannot do the morning meeting in 5 minutes, my brother will not do that meeting. Everybody walk away and leave you alone. We believe you can in 5 minutes tell me what my entire job is for the day. Tomorrow we'll do another Fast Five. And here's the kicker. And if there's anything that will last more than 5 minutes, will make us come on a Saturday and do it. Yes, you
Mm.
would say we all need to be heard, but that's the thing. We are wired differently. When Mr. Femi was talking, he said, let us be able to appreciate the uniqueness and the differences of ourselves. That just leads to the fact that I understand we want to
I
be
don't
heard. I
understand
understand
though.
that.
I mean, in heterosexual marriages, the man knows he's marrying a woman, the woman knows she's marrying a man, and we're wired differently. How is this news to a couple?
It's not
It's not
news, but
part
then
of the work.
it's not news, but it comes into the fact that when you want to say that you want to have everybody should be able to have a conversation, be also notice that most people don't want to have that conversation. Not because they're not wired that way too. I can't do it. You can have me talk with you for hours. That's unique. I can be a guy that likes to talk and I'll talk with you for hours. But however, I'll tell you this plain truth. If my best friend walks through the door, he'll tell me who they play match. I say, man, you. He say, how you dey? Fine. Say that thing work out. Yes. Did you not work out? No. We go see later. We've had a beautiful conversation. In fact, I saw him. If I
But
describe
that's
this
a lot of
conversation to my wife,
words. You people have some
okay,
shorter ones.
okay. So in that same vein, if I put
Yes,
that
but if
person in
once you
that
want to be
position, how?
married,
Okay, guys, we need to wrap up now. Okay,
Please,
so
Abby,
I
please
think
wrap
we
up.
can take this
Love
into
you to
the
see. I still
we
love you,
can
Sha.
take this
See,
into
Bumi
the
is Bumi is
after
shy. I still love
party.
her.
But as we have clearly seen, communication is very, very important. It's important to be able to speak, but also very important to listen. And most importantly, to keep within the subject matter that is being discussed. So I'm just going to go. First of all, I want to say a massive thank you to Sister Ibidum, and to Mr. Femi, to Ifeanyi, to Abifash, to Bumitela, to Maymoon, and of course, Mr. Society and Ron himself, the DJ Wiki Wiki. Thank you, everyone, for
Maymoon is
coming on.
here.
Yeah, she's still here. And then
I
I'm going to
forgot.
read out the comments. Sister Ariola said, "Kiss, kiss, we love you. Thank you, we love you too." And then Stanora said, "Laugh, laugh, laugh." Then Dr. Senu said, "Emotional maturity is always a work in progress. For those who get it, they are humble and continue to learn. Some are permanently stunted. This applies in all relationships." Then Bobita said, "I'm listening, oh Ron, make it good." Then Senu said, "Oga Ron, hailings." Then Bobitela said, "Abby, laugh, laugh, laugh." Dr. Senu said, "Abby, let Ron flow, Jare. Some women are the head of the home." Oh, the later one went to say that. Then he said, Gender equality 2022." Then Bumi said, "Twe." When Ron started to quote Bible. Then Dr. Senu said,
yes, that was
"Seriously."
the time.
Then when Abby spoke up about Ron quoting the Bible, Dr. Tito said, "Seriously, not everyone knows the Bible, but relationships require deep mutual understanding of roles, which are not always fixed. Pastors do lose marriage. Oh, we are complicated, but we can learn." Then Bubitela said, "Hands up in the air." Then Dr.
Still
Senu
need it
said,
tomorrow.
"Communication is vital,
Between
but it
the
means
5 minutes.
trust
Yeah.
in the other to be well meaning, peace, and love." So those are the comments that
You
we've
hungry?
had, and
Sorry,
I'm
Sophie, I'm
telling
on the
you,
phone.
it's been a very interesting show. Really appreciate every single person who's tuned in, who's been listening, who's joined in the conversations. You guys are amazing. So till we do this again, same time, same place. Take care and God bless. Please, guys,
We
don't
will
forget to stay
disappear
for the
again.
after party.
Woo!
Okay.